Yeah.
Oh, it's the boss. Oh, hello. Right. Right. This isn't what you thought, actually, Ryan. This is an intervention. This is he's got a lawsuit against you, and he wanted me as a witness. This is part of the estate agency Me Too campaign. Now, Ryan.
We should have worn my hat now.
Yeah. Well, I can't see you, Ryan.
You don't see him?
No.
Oh dear, that's And Mincy's in the house as well. Oh, talk about being late for your own party.
Oh, there we are. I've got it.
Mr. Mintz, you there? Oh, we have to look at him. All ceremonial. Hey! Well played. Well played.
Hi, boys.
Mate.
It's already started, so as usual, luckily no one swore. Well done. No one said shit or bugger or anything like that. Right, on the show today, we've got Mr. Mintz, which we'll come back to in a minute. I'm sure he'll explain himself there. We have the wonderful George O'Sullivan and the even more dapper and deadly Ryan from Leader Fox. Welcome, guys. How are you? You all okay?
Very good.
Yeah, very well, mate. Very well.
Excellent. Those of you tuned in a little bit early will see that George is not wearing any pants, or at least he's got his legs out, so we don't have them anymore. We are an adult show. We don't yet have the ability to show ginger legs. That's a no-no in the podcast fraternity.
You shaved them.
I shaved them just for today. I was hoping Simon to give him the grand tour.
Yeah. Right, well, unfortunately for you guys, I think that means you're actually with us for the duration. Then, if you've logged in now, so if you could just sit back for just a second whilst we try and ascertain what the hell's going on with David, because it does look like this is starting to get to him.
What, this?
Yeah.
Well, this is so that the HMRC can't read my thoughts.
Nice.
In case I try and work whilst I'm furloughed.
Yeah.
Right?
Working staff.
Blocking out the haters.
So this blocks out all those negative signals, man.
I was talking to somebody earlier who genuinely thought that the government was going to be watching the Zoom calls, all these Zoom calls to see monitoring them somehow.
Well, listen, more fool you. I'm taking every precaution, mate.
Yeah, but that's also what you wore when you were trying not to have your kids, so didn't really work then.
You know what? You're right. I'm going to put that up.
Good. Have we got any news today, David? Are we bored of it because we did a load yesterday? Well, I did a load.
I'm going to sort of raise one thing. I'd like Ryan's perspective on it, and George. Hello, George.
David.
But Simon, you're not allowed to comment on it for reasons that are going to become apparent. What did you think, Ryan, to the Reapit story this morning in the Property Industry Eye?
Oh, I haven't seen it. What's the story?
Oh, okay.
Furloughing the staff is.
Furloughing of staff. So basically, I'm presuming...
Oh, is this about the discount, you mean?
No.
What, sorry?
It's
Not
the
about
discount.
No,
Okay.
This is about how they are. It was presented as, is this the right way to do furloughing of staff? And I'll let David go on.
All right.
Yeah, so Property Industry Eye carries a story this morning, which I'm going to bring up. And that is effectively, it poses the question, is this the way to furlough your staff? And I think that the reason they're asking that as a question is I think that somebody at Reapit presumes that the way that they've handled furloughing is to be commendable. And so the article basically says Reapit is an exceptionally well-known supplier to the industry, and this week they've had to make the tough call to furlough a number of staff from the UK operation. The company declined to reveal the actual numbers of staff involved in the process, but the letter below, written by Gary Barker, was apparently shared with his staff, and Barker's obviously gone on record to the Property Industry Eye, and effectively said, although we are a tech company, the essence of Reapit is actually the incredibly talented group of people who I call my colleagues. So understandably, this has been an exceedingly tough decision for us. Ultimately, our decisions are made to ensure our core focus, our core business capability remains stable, so that our furloughed staff has a Reapit to come back to, and that our product remains available to our customers throughout the crisis. And obviously, that letter has then been released to the to Pi, and they've printed that. So obviously, they feel it's newsworthy.
I think everyone's doing the same, aren't they?
Sorry?
I think everyone's doing the same, aren't they?
I think
yeah, why is that commendable?
I think that everybody's doing the same, and I think that a lot of people are doing more than that. Barker goes on to say at some point in that letter that he's sharing the pain with his employees, although they're they're getting.
Sorry, is that a violin or something else?
Quite a big one for Ryan.
I think that's a cello, mate.
I wish.
And so whereas obviously the staff are getting 80%, which is what the government are effectively underwriting for them, Mr. Barker is taking 50% of his usual salary, which will no doubt be modest in the first place. So yeah, I just thought it was newswortly that I thought this wasn't particularly newsworthy.
Yeah, all right,
I don't think.
you commie bastard. People have a right to earn money. They are Gary. They are Gary. They're looking after you.
Well done, mate.
How long have you got left? Is it another 6 months?
Let me just have a look. Yeah, another 6 months. Look, I think, David, you are being... Actually, let's hear from Ryan first on this. What do you think, Ryan?
I think it's common business sense, and obviously George, who works for me, knows what the conversations we've had as a team, but before the furloughing scheme was announced, we had a real tough conversation with the team and said, there's a really good chance that we're going to have to put you on unpaid leave. It's not something I want to do, but ultimately, if we can't do our jobs, then it's a real tough business decision we need to do to make sure that there is a business to come back to, as what Gary said in the article. I think that's, during that meeting, one of the most proud things for me was that everyone was brilliant. George, I hope he doesn't mind me sharing what he said, but he basically refused to take any commission. He's like, no, I just, the business needs it more than
Brian, it's why he's on the show today. Of course he is. I am holding him up as the saviour of a state agency. That's what you are.
Yeah.
Well, I think when the chips are down, you kind of find out how strong your team is, and our team have been absolutely fantastic. And the one thing that I said to the team was that I'll make sure they get paid before I do. And that's all I can say. But look, David, you know it's like, it's going to be tough for us, isn't it, for the next 12, 16, 20 weeks, probably the rest of the year, let's face it.
Yeah, and it's not just about having a business to come back to. It's being able to hit the ground running when we do get back. And that actually takes a bit of spend as well, because, we have to switch everything back on, get everybody motivated, and pipelines that may have sort of dried up during that time need nurturing again, and that is the hard work in our industry, isn't it?
Well, we've analysed how
so you say
for our sale to be agreed. 50 days, 50 days to be a sale, 90 days to get it to exchange of contracts. It's 140 days. So even when 12 weeks time, hopefully, and that's unrealistic, but 12 weeks, say we're back up and running, it's still going to be 140 days to get paid on any new business from that point. So it's a long lead time for our sales, and this year is going to be definitely tough. We had a target, didn't we, George, at the start of the year? If we hit X, we're going to Vegas.
Yeah. We can't get a Bogner now.
What he's going to do, he's going to take you online to one of those gaming machines.
Yeah.
George, that looks like a wonderful family-sized living room with rear aspect Velux windows, bringing in an ample amount of natural light.
I love your virtual presentation.
I still move in the background.
Can I ask Ryan first? We'll come to you, George, as the chosen one. You've got pride of place. We're dealing with your boss, the fluffer, at the moment. So good. Ryan, why do you? It definitely was the case, or is the case, that business principals in a state agency, have reacted seemingly much quicker than last time during the obviously the financial crisis. Why do you think this is? Do you think it is just because it's
I think are happening quicker.
Pandemic?
I think things are happening quicker. 4 weeks ago, to be honest with you, I was quite naive about it. Some of the people were speaking about, oh, you're worried about it. I just come back from Barcelona. I was like, nah, it won't affect us. And then I think we had a Sunday, didn't we, George? We were on our sort of group.
Yeah, it was only about 2 weeks ago.
We had 3 buyers pull out on Sunday. We're like, oh, that's interesting. I mean, 2 of them were investors. I kind of get that. One of them was a first-time buyer, and it just kind of made no sense. Yeah. And then that week, it went, viewing numbers dropped. And I think it just, the whole thing happened real quick. So you needed to make a real quick decision. It happened. That week didn't turn out too bad because we did another two sales, but I think
we recovered. But that was the point it hit us on it, and we thought,
all of a sudden this is going to affect us now. And that's why businesses reacted quickly, because they could see the trajectory we were on. The recessions we had before were a bit like that, whereas this, it sort of dropped off a cliff, didn't it? So,
and Ryan, just an overview of Leader Fox, where you are, just an overview of the company, so people understand. We're trying to get people, so people understand the different makeups of the businesses we're interviewing.
Yes, in terms of what we are, like the one office firm down in Poole, sales and lettings, a team of 7. We're probably the 3rd biggest agent in our area. Probably the higher end in terms of what we charge and in terms of our presentation. So sort of akin to Waitrose type style estate agency, really, but very community focused. I love the likes of people like Assad at Location, Spencer at Paramount. Those types of agencies are we try and replicate in our area. And we're very lucky, actually, where we are, because it's like a little village and there's lots of independent bars, bistros, retailers. So it has a real sense of community, which we like to keep and be part of, really.
Yeah. Okay, that's really useful. And George, I mean, we were talking, obviously, Ryan spoke about having that very honest conversation with you about it. We haven't heard really from staff members so far. How did that feel? I mean, were you expecting it? Was it out of the blue? On what part of the scale were you?
I think we knew it was coming. Most of us knew it was coming. I just don't think it hit overnight. But like Ryan said about the 3 buyers printing out on that Sunday. So I went through the finances with the missus and they said, look, I can do this. One, it's my golden ticket to become a partner in a couple of years' time.
Nice.
I thought, here we go. This is my chance.
It wasn't self-acceptable.
And 2, I went through the finances with the missus. She's still working. I said, look, Ryan, I'm here to help the business, mate. You've helped me become a better agent over the last couple of years. I need to give you something back. So this is the least I can do.
George, just give us a bit of background. Where were you during the 2008 crisis?
In a womb? Nah.
Where's he gone?
Have you just cut him off?
Yeah. That's it. He's gone.
He's gone.
He's underage.
His mum's just cut him off. What are you doing?
Umbilical cord around his neck.
It's that old thing about when you had dial-up internet. Who's using the telephone for internet?
Oh, he's back. Shh.
Hey.
Lost me.
George, we were talking about your mum's room.
Someone tried calling me.
Brilliant.
Oh wait, I wasn't even an agent. I've been an agent 7 years now.
So you don't remember sort of working through the last crisis?
No, everyone tends to bring that up a lot.
But you know what?
During the war.
But it's interesting that you say that, because I think that, Ryan said obviously people have reacted very quickly and the government's reacted extremely quickly. And I think that we've got a bit of muscle memory as a nation.
He's obviously very popular because people keep calling.
It's not that. It's the doctor. Your tests have come back. You're positive.
Oh, he's riddled. He's worse than you, Whaley.
No, but I think politicians knew that if they sat on this for long, we would, do you remember those visions of all the pensioners queuing up outside Northern Rock?
Yeah.
And that was the panic that set in.
Yeah.
And because the politicians sat on their hands at the time, it allowed that crisis to worsen and escalate. And I think everybody stepped in.
That's the big thing. It's a cash flow issue. If they wait too long, it doesn't matter what policies they put in place because there's nothing to save, is there? So when
Yeah,
you've got cash
correct.
flow,
Do you think it's bizarre? Do you think it's bizarre that there hasn't been any God, we don't want it, any focus on the banks in that way?
What, like a run on the banks?
Yeah, I mean,
I think it
The Russians haven't started spreading some social media thing to start saying money's not safe.
Where did it all happen? It all started with the Kerfuffle podcast.
It's interesting you say that. Obviously, the Bank of England makes money available to the banks a lot cheaper than we would get it.
Yeah.
And obviously, they've done that in shed loads, even prior to this crisis kicking off. The interesting thing now is obviously the banks are the conduits for all of those interest-free loans that they say that they're going to be offering to businesses. Interesting thing is, if you apply for an interest-free loan from your bank today, if your business was in good enough shape and had a good enough credit history, you will not qualify for an interest-free loan. You'll have to take one of the banks. They'll give you a loan, but they'll give it you have to pay interest. You have to be in really shitty shape to actually get one of these government handout loans. So there is that, and then you've also got the other end of that is on the mortgage side of things. The banks are saying that they're inundated with inquiries from current borrowers asking for mortgage holidays. So that obviously their cash flow is going to be strained over the next 3 months, and therefore they're holding back on writing new mortgages.
Yeah, they've also withdrawn some current ones, haven't they? Like under 75%, is that right?
I think so. The loan to value.
10-15% deposit, so 85% loan to value. I think they're hesitant at the moment, which is common sense, isn't it? If you're doing
I understand it, yeah.
Value and the property dips 10%, I don't think it will, but maybe I'm sort of naive and optimist as an agent. But if they drop by 10%, only got 5% deposit, you've lost money before you start.
So George, are you an official millennial or are you beyond that one?
I'm a millennial.
93.
You're a millennial.
I'm a millennial.
No.
Look it up.
You were born in
1993. That's the
1993, yeah, 26.
I was having my bar mitzvah in 1993. Hell.
Is that where they snip it off?
No, that was 13 years before that.
Okay, all right. So George, I suppose what I was getting to there is, are you taking this fairly sanguine? Does it feel you're looking at this?
Small words, Whaley. Small words.
Yeah.
Small words. Wind.
Wind
is the big
put
word
like a little dictionary in the He's an estate agent.
I was going to go with patois there and go, fam, do you feel me?
Yeah.
So what does it feel like to you? Does this feel like just something you just got to get through and everything else, or does it just feel like?
Yeah, exactly. I think we'll come out the other end of it. It's just how long it's going to be. Ultimately, productivity is going to be low as well. There's only a certain amount you can do.
Yeah.
I've messaged Ryan earlier, and I spoke to all my current vendors and some people who have moved this year. Just say, look, is everything okay? Do you need anything for me to drop you off? I don't think it's a time to sell what the business as such and to sell houses. It's more to be like, are you going to be there for when it comes through the other end?
Definitely, yeah. I think that's really.
And I think that's all I can do at the moment. I can't. We do virtual tours and stuff, but I think it's very touchy with some of the public. Like, calm down a little bit. Our house is on the forefront of everyone's mind.
Yeah.
Customers. Not really, which is why I'm trying to do it a bit more. Than like, let's try and help someone and not try and.
What's been your most difficult call, George? When with somebody, I mean, I've heard a lot of people trying to do prospecting calls and have been just oh, for fuck's sake, what are you doing at a time like this? Have you had any difficult conversations?
A few, but get them every day. So not really. Only people who are desperate to move. Like someone's got a rental at the end of March finishing, so he's going to end up paying a mortgage on that. The guy's still moving out. That's the only difficult ones I've got to do. So the only conversation you've got to have is either reduce it ridiculous amount and sell it, or hold fire, sit tight, pay the mortgage, take your mortgage payment holiday, and then look to sell it after.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's about it. And I haven't really had many difficult ones, just people that want to move.
We've set up like WhatsApp groups and stuff now for a lot of our existing sales with Steph, haven't we?
Because that's what we all need. We all need more WhatsApp groups.
Yeah, great.
These are business.
Yeah.
Nobody does that around here.
Make sure we don't send the memes to the wrong group.
Do not cross the streams. Don't cross the streams.
But that's been really good. And actually, it's been weird because it's changed the relationship.
Yeah.
It's almost like, we've got clients having kisses on the end of their WhatsApp messages, and not me, obviously, but it's that type of relationship where you're actually becoming a bit more of a friend than
I've noticed that.
An agent. And
you know what tends to go down really well on a WhatsApp with a client?
The GIF.
Nudes.
No. Use the apparently right now, just like kids have been putting rainbows in the windows for the NHS.
Yeah.
Well, the WhatsApp equivalent is using the water emoji and the aubergine.
Aubergine, yeah.
So
only
do that. Really popular. My tip. There you go, guys. One love.
April 4 was 2 hours ago, you dickhead.
It does buy loyalty.
You're talking to a millennial here, David. We know what the deal is.
And frankly, you would be lucky and happy for an aubergine, my friend.
Oh, it's been a while since I've had a bit of aubergine.
There was sprout emoticon. Okay, well, I mean, George, the other thing I should say is, given that we're a show that vastly is thousands of followers of almost all business owners, I do need to say thank you very much for doing that. And we're going to really try and shame all of the workers now into doing the same sort of offer that you've given. So well done there. You're the Uncle Tom, as they say.
Great. I get a lot of messages from agents like, "You're a dick. What have you done?"
Yeah. Anyway,
genuinely, George, I think it's really laudable. I was saying to Ryan the other day, first of all, when I told him I didn't believe him, but I think what this shows though is you can have as many slogans on the wall, can't you? Like lots of businesses do. Our staff come first. Our clients come first. But when the shit hits the fan, and dare I say it, the story that David was talking about yesterday, the way that Spices have seemingly dealt with their staff via text message, this is all the difference, isn't it? I mean, this is really when culture comes to the fore like this, it's the acid test, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
That's when you find out what the culture is, don't you? Because otherwise, it's easy to be, say people before profit when you're making a profit. It's easy then, isn't it? Let's face it. The next few months when we're not, that's why I love that. We won the webinar with Steve Rawlings yesterday, Whaley.
Brilliant.
With Spencer, saying now's the time to show you what we're made of. Yeah. I love that line because it's absolutely true, isn't it? Now is the time to show.
The other brilliant one on that, just as a complete aside. So this is one of Academy's webinars that they're doing regularly, and Steve Rawlings was talking about the importance of storytelling to get it across to people, because obviously when they're just bombarded with information, quite often it's not difficult. But the one I like was, I think it was put out by the Texas Health Board, to really get across to people the importance of washing hands. It was treat washing your hands like you've just cut up a chili and are then going to take out your contact lenses, or in my eyes, go straight to the toilet.
Masturbate was the one.
Ryan! This is an adult show.
I know what your father's more uncouth than.
Do you want me to get the graphs out again? I'll get the charts out.
The whale bump. Did you see this? This is filthy. Where were you on here, George? Have you got him?
I'll get him one sec.
Yeah, I'm waiting. Oh, here he is. He's up. Go on, boy.
That's got rid of him.
yeah. Right, see you later, lads.
So I was looking at a story here actually for yesterday, I think it was, where it's fantastically named Lucius from Savills, well known, and he was talking about they are estimating that UK transactions will be up to 45% lower across the year. Does that feel right to you?
I honestly don't know how
it's like that.
It is, isn't it? I got the
that's like me valuing houses, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Behavioural economists were saying that we still think prices will be up, and we can sort of, I know Peter Knight says a lot about this isn't, it's deferred income, but is it?
We'll find out.
Yeah, well, I hope it is, clearly, but who knows is the truth. I think the important thing is control the controllables. What can we do? We can be there for our clients. We can be there for our community. That's all we can do at the moment.
Perfectly put. Yeah, well done. Back to the important stuff, David.
Show me the graph.
What's this graph?
This is the graph, and this is, look, the new challenges when working from home. Okay, the graph here shows number of wanks over time. And basically what you see here is a very, very severe peak. And this is the danger zone right here. This is where we get to peak wanks per hour, otherwise known as Whaley's Folly.
You haven't got any numbers along the side.
Yeah. George is saying that was 1 o'clock.
This is where you reach wank burnout, WBO, at the end of week 1. Now, we've got 3 months of this to get through, guys, right? So
we've got to suppress the curve.
We've got to, exactly. We need to suppress that curve. We want to see this looking a bit more like this. If you pace yourself, right, we can get to 3 months here very easily.
Mate,
I'm 26, David. I'm fine.
I saw the Cadbury's rabbit. I saw the Cadbury's rabbit and almost passed out. That sexy bitch.
I've got no issues in this department. I'm 26. You lot, the old boys have got to start struggling, yeah, but
Going right off in. Going right off in.
I've got to let you in on a secret. I've got to let you in on a secret, mate. There's no passion killer like three kids and a wife wandering in and out of your office.
George is a dad now.
It's called a danger wank, that, isn't it, David?
Mazel tov, George. What have we got? Is it a girl George or a boy George?
Got 2 boy Georges now. He's inherited.
Comma, chameleon.
Cool, so that explains why you're looking tired anyway. That's
good.
Yeah. That's it. That also explains why...
Trying to copy me, isn't he?
And have your kids inherited gingerness, or are they normal?
Jeez.
Not yet.
I wanted to do a proper podcast. I wanted it to be a resource, a light. Look what you've taken us down to.
Mate.
Graphs of peak wank.
The thing is, David, this
6 months too late, Mr. Whale.
The hat's covering the gingerness. I can change this. You can't change this, mate.
No, that is
it's turned into a live burn. It's a live burn.
Session now, isn't it? For 5 minutes.
That's beautiful. That is a beautiful head of hair there. That's lovely.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of body.
You should see him without a beard. I'll send you the pictures later. That beard makes him, honestly. It's a Terminator. Promise you.
Brian, let's go back to you, ostensibly as the most important person, the obviously owner of the business, the driving force. What are you doing with your days? Talk us through. Well, not back to David.
Oh. Talking about banking, or
with the remaining 20 minutes you have in the day.
Well, I was actually sending to the team, like, I got like this little timetable that I created, because the first week I did struggle, because I do like structure. I probably bang on about it enough to the team. And funny enough, it's ironic, because I was just getting George on top of it. We had a masterclass with Troy Malcolm, didn't we? And we talked about time blocking and how much more efficient you can be with your time. That was with Stephen Brown as well. And we just got into the habit. And now you start work from home, and it kind of all goes to shit. And I've got to be honest, it's real tough with 7-year-old twins, 2 dogs. Obviously the wife at home. It's tough to be productive, but I just, I've got a timetable. These are the hours that I'm working, so keep the kids away and whatever, and then I'll try and take over. But I am just quite enjoying it. It's nice to actually have a dinner as a family together and a lunch as a family together. And
you do seem.
In 2 weeks' time, I'll be up for murder charges, I'm sure, when I've novelty's worn off. But
I tell you what, that first when they open that bar for the first time, it's
man, I can't wait. I'm gonna go mad.
After party. Oh,
I'll send you.
I'm gonna go.
I need to do a fantastic shout out to Ben from Starbury, the web guys. They do our website. And on a call yesterday with the partnership group, he was talking about apps that really help at the moment. And I know a lot of people have heard of Calendly, isn't it? The appointment one. And I'd seen it, but I thought, okay, well, now is the time to do it. I was up till 2 o'clock. I'll send you the link over. The first 2 minutes I did seriously, and I had Kerfuffle, Zoom demonstration, 20 minutes. Meeting, 1 hour. Meeting, half an hour. Ta-da. Then I got there and I started thinking, fuck this. So I was into...
You schedule wanks now.
Yeah, right.
I don't need to book time for that.
Rachel, leave me alone. Busy.
What gets scheduled gets done.
Gets
That
done.
is the mantra.
I've gone far better. By the time I finished at 2:30, I was booking in Wolf of Wall Street lunch, 6 hours. All day, 8 hours. You can now book a piss up with Whaley going forwards till the end of time. And this is the best thing, as a recurring appointment. If you think you're up to it, I'll send it over.
Ryan, just to bring us back to current affairs and something that might be a little bit more relevant to the industry than Whaley's lunch. What's your take on the recent portal wars and the...
we were talking about it yesterday, weren't we?
Yeah. I don't have a massive issue with Rightmove. Okay, I think their culture is not aligned with ours. It is very much profit before people, in my opinion. And I do find a lot of the criticism a bit sort of hypocritical. Well, it's hypocritical. You know, oh, look at their profit margins. I bet most agents, if they could charge 5% without doing the extra value, without actually doing anything extra, they would just charge it. So I think that it's funny. The same agents that seem to moan about how much they charge are the same ones that are saying, I'm putting my fees up. Now, I've got no problem with putting fees up, as long as it comes with value add, because otherwise you're just being a hypocrite. I do think that their first offer was ridiculous. It was almost worse than offering anything at all. Yeah. And then they've had to overcompensate massively. I mean, 75% reduction is very, very generous, although cost per lead is actually still doubled for us over the last week, still, despite the discount. But, I mean, not many businesses are going to offer a 75% reduction, so they've had to go completely the other way. And then people are still moaning because they've said they've done it under duress. So I just don't like the culture. I don't mind the product. I think the product's good. I just don't like the
and what about the Zoopla response?
Homesearch is Zoopla. At first, I'll be honest, I thought it was a PR sort of master stroke to do it. But then when you start looking at the small print about the tie-ins of the 27-month contracts and all the rest of it, it was just, I don't know. I thought at first it was a very, very good bit of PR, especially when they launched it on the day that Rightmove have offered the 75% off, and then over, and then the next minute you get a press release saying 9 months free. I thought it was a good bit of PR. But
Jerry Lyons was all over that timing, wasn't he? He was very impressed with it. I thought it was just a bit too smoothly delivered. It was like so obvious that it was people benefiting from the pandemic.
Yeah, but we're dumb estate agents, Simon. You don't need to be. Well, I've had a bit of a conversation with Whaley about it, but I'm obviously a big fan of Sam Hunter at Homesearch.
I like Homesearch.
He's doing lots of demos at the moment. We've been using Homesearch for a little while to do our, they're a big data company, and I've been very impressed with the reports. You've been using the reports, haven't you, George? Now,
I think they're great. I think they're really good.
6 months, and found them really good. So it's going to be like Rightmove, but with so much more information, clearly, to be able to show the clients. It's like anything. Look, Rightmove is popular because it's got all the properties. That's why the consumer say, yeah, I like it. It's easy to use. But ultimately, if all the properties aren't on Rightmove, the consumer will be weaned off it, won't they? That's why you go there. It's because all the properties are there.
Can I ask you, George? It's all very well what obviously Mr. Ryan here talking and pontificating about how easy it is to come off, obviously, Rightmove.
Oh, I don't think it's easy. I didn't say it was easy.
Well, I'm saying it's easy because that makes it more powerful. But anyway, he says it's easy. He says, fuck the stuff. You're going to do this. How do you feel about delivering that story when probably the agent before you and certainly the agent after you is going to say, they're not on Rightmove? How would you feel about that?
Do you know what? We had this exact conversation yesterday. He was like, will you just listen to what I'm saying? Because I was like, mate, everyone uses Rightmove, and as soon as one agent goes back onto it after giving notice, that's it. We're screwed. To say, oh, you do know they're not on Rightmove. It's like, well, what if all the properties aren't on there? So what he was saying a minute ago, everyone only likes it because all the properties are on there. So yes, I get the point of what Ryan said. But I genuinely don't think every agent's going to leave. I think no one's going to do it.
That's the challenge.
Do you know on that
issue?
point?
No one's going to unite and cooperate with each other to be able to do it.
What do you do, David?
How do you, if that's the case, other than breaking their legs, how do you stop that rogue agent breaking ranks?
You can't. I think it depends. If you get past the critical mass, then I think then that one agent might lose their power. For example, where we are, there's probably 4 agents that have got 80% of the properties. Okay, so if all of us leave and the other 20%, the other 20% of properties are still on Rightmove, then clearly Rightmove doesn't have any power locally.
Yeah.
I think a hyper-local issue more than a national one. It doesn't matter if 2,000 agents leave nationally. If all our competitors still advertise on it, it doesn't make a difference to us. So if locally all the agents come off, if we all come off and then one agent goes back, even that one agent, he's still only going to have 20% of the properties. Still 80% are off.
Can I ask you? One of the other things we've spoken about is that ability to build ostensibly a micro portal for the particular area. So, David, what were we talking about yesterday? What's your postcode, M25?
Yeah, so I mean, we've got community pages such as, I think Ryan's got the same. So we run a Love M25 community page.
So isn't the simplest thing then to do is, look, everyone's in on that localized portal, but if you break ranks and go back to Rightmove, you are removed from that local portal.
It's difficult because the local community pages are really an opportunity for agents to prove that they are just normal human beings and that they're there to do good for the community. So the big no-no is to actually advertise. Well, you might not be.
It's a big facade.
But the big no-no to not break that facade is to start.
Just done all your good work.
Thank God we've got no listeners.
But the big no-no is to start pushing your wares on there. So we are very wary. We never advertise the business other than what it is that we're currently doing for the community. We're not pushing any particular services, and I think Ryan's probably the same on that. And a lot of agents are doing that. They're supporting their community.
Luke does that very well as well, doesn't he? Luke,
tremendously well. He was probably one of the first. And I think if you were to switch that tomorrow and start advertising your properties there, it would be seen as a betrayal by members of the public, where they go, right, now I realise what these guys were up to.
Yeah.
So there is a bit of a tightrope to walk there. I just what Ryan says about coming off the portals is true. In our area, we and another competitors, that's just 2 of us, hold 80% of the market, and the rest is spread amongst, I don't know, 12, maybe even 14 agents. If we came off the one particular portal, all they would do is they'd go out and go, they're not on that portal anymore. So it doesn't really matter whether that's Rightmove, Zoopla, on the market. It doesn't matter as long as the 2 top agents are not communicating together, which I understand that might represent a cartel in some cases.
Big focus.
What have you done out of curiosity, David? You left or stayed?
No, so we're sitting put at the moment. We're getting everybody's getting that discount now, aren't they? Without committing to a further term with Rightmove, which I think was clever because they're not tying anybody into anything. They were just offering the discount. So for those agents who just want to sit there and wait, that's great.
What's it £40 a month in it, ish? If you got one office?
Yeah, it's come down a tremendous amount. The issue though is with Zoopla kind of their reps came out pushing for us to sign up initially to an 18-month plus a 3-month or a 5-month discount that they were offering. And then they cut that down to 12 months. So today, I think Zoopla have obviously taken out a big slice of advertising with Property Industry, and they've been pushing that message today that the way they spun it was that you can choose the length of your contract as long as it's anywhere between 12 and 37 months. Yeah, you can choose. So how much of this do you want? And so it's just, yeah. And again, I am watching other agents. So there are about 1,250 agents, maybe 2,000 if you add up all the different groups that are trying to leave or trying to make other agents leave Rightmove. If you were to add those up, there's about 2,000 agents at the moment, and they are now pressing Zoopla to give a discount to agents without a tie-in. So we're waiting to see where that comes to.
We gave notice yesterday to Rightmove. We purely for cost per lead basis, real rational decision, not emotional. Spoke to Carrie, email Carrie, our sort of local Rightmove account manager. Even with factoring in the 75% discount, our cost per lead has gone up by about 120%. So, and we can't service what we do with the lead anyway. We can't show them the property. So, you know, I have said that it's very much my intention to go back, which the truth is it probably is. I've not sent like a shitty email like I know a lot of people have done saying, "Hope you burn in hell, you fucking bastards." I don't have a problem with Rightmove in the sense that as soon as the cost per lead doesn't work for me,
that's it. Simple.
Is that the same with lettings?
But am I right in saying that the cost per lead is not working for you right now when there's zero inquiries?
Well, clearly that's how much would you pay for a lead? If someone says, "I'm going to give you a buyer lead for 20 quid," would you do that? It depends, doesn't it? I was paying about £2 a lead, and now it's gone up to £5, and I reckon it will probably go up to like 15, 20, you know, as these weeks drag on, because we're not releasing more stock. So it's stale stock. I also think from a vendor's point of view, are we better to withdraw it and relaunch anyway? Because, what can we physically do? And I know that our actual Rightmove stats show that the views have gone up. The page views have actually gone up, which makes sense. More people at home looking. But that's not a metric I really care about.
That's interesting, that though, David, because that contrasts. We were looking at these stats the other day.
Yeah, I ran the numbers the other day, and we were averaging, say, 80, or not us, but just the entire sort of patch. We're averaging about 86 views per property per day, I think. And that was about 81.2 views at the beginning part of March, and the second half of March, when the virus really hit home, that dropped to about 41 views. So it's almost 50%. Right.
And by the way, Ryan, that's why we were having a look at it, because we suspected that there was going to be a bit like property porn time over Christmas. People are sat at home, have the time to do it. And what was interesting was that wasn't borne out. And David and I thought, well, maybe they're not quite enough to be doing that yet.
There's no inquiries coming from them page views, though, is there?
Sorry?
No inquiries coming from them page views. So I don't know, page views might have doubled.
That's what I mean. It's not a metric I care about, really. You can have a million page views. I'd rather have 10 leads. Do you know what I mean? So
I've got to say, I've sat in on a few webinars, and I've looked at, the Troy Malcolm thing this morning and all that sort of stuff. And it's interesting, there's some agents that are obviously providing advice to the vendors on Zoom, on video tours and video view. The truth is, there's an extremely small percentage of buyers out there that are going to commit to a purchase at this stage, period. It doesn't matter how they view the property, whether they're there in person or whether they see it on a video.
There's not any mortgage valuations, unless you're correct. A cash buyer, no one's doing mortgage valuations, so it can't
progress it anyway.
Yeah. So I just think it's futile. That's why I said, look, stop selling, start helping, and just be there for the community. Be there. They all know what we do. Do you know what I mean? And let's face it. I just think you just look like an idiot. I think you look like you're an ostrich with your head in the sand if you keep on plugging properties, new listings. Or that's.
I can't believe agents are actually launching new stock.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe.
I think it's mental.
It's interesting. There are some vendors out there that are going through a bit of a crisis that need to launch that stock. So I'll give you, for instance, you've put your mum in a home. That home is still charging $3,000 is it a month or
A
something?
month, yeah, it's expensive, isn't it?
A lot of
Yeah,
money.
yeah.
And you have burnt through all her savings. Now the home are putting pressure on you. You need to get the money out of her flat in order to pay for her care. And so there are people that have said to me, yes, I understand you're not going to be able to do viewings. I understand you're not going to be able to market it in the normal way, but I can't afford to wait. I need this on the market. So it's crazy, but there are vendors that have a agenda, really. It's a human need.
Well,
I get it.
like you said, we don't prescribe a carte blanche, this is what suits us. It's about what suits the client. And there clearly are going to be circumstances where the client needs to sell. We've just got to tell them the brutal facts at the moment. This is the size of your buyer audience.
Yeah.
You know, is there any way you can get through the next few months? Because if you can, you're going to be in a better position to get a better price.
Never do that to Whaley, by the way. It makes it feel.
I'd be generous if I was talking about Whaley.
This podcast is finished. Ryan, before you stopped doing things, you were being as innovative as ever, and you were using that video arse tool that I've been using there.
Well, something from you. Yeah, I mean,
It
sent it to George.
really good, didn't it?
Yeah, look, really, really good. And Sashin from Olivia helped us with that, actually. He knocked that up for us. But that is something definitely I think we'd like to look to do. Yeah, I think every time we take it on, you know, we want to build that into our process of when we're listing it, you know, i.e. we're there with a professional photographer at our home, do a quick walkthrough with a video ask, do you want the questions, and then launch that to our applicant database before it hits the portal. I think that's a great reason to register details with us. And second, I just think if I was a seller, I think that's impressive.
I saw your use of that because
really
Josh, who I think is on one of the mastermind groups, came back with it, and I am really impressed by that app. And I cannot believe that Whaley hasn't yet got Video Ask to formally put together a brand ambassador.
Yeah, that's right. I'm all about giving back to the industry.
You know where I think it might work really well? I think it's probably a really good way to get feedback from a buyer after a viewing, without having to sit on the phones and call them. And
that's the biggest one. When they're avoiding your call, and you know they are, the vendor thinks you're a dickhead because you keep saying I can't get in touch with them. That's the way that person gets you off their back, isn't it?
Yeah. Sure. And I think if you've got a video to show them, and you can start to stitch those videos together, and all those buyers in unison are saying, look, we're not buying it because it's next to the old asbestos plant, then, you know, the vendor will listen.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I love the idea. I don't know if you can do it in that video ask, but if you could have some supplementary question, which would be anyway, regardless of whether you were what do you think the value of the property is? What would you? That's a lovely bit of feedback for the vendor.
Well, that's part of that, don't we? Yeah, our price feedback is always. I think we got it from ActivePipe actually. Like price feedback, presentation feedback, and location feedback, and sort of rate them out of 5, and then that builds up a score, doesn't it? Then, and then you can go back to your client and say, look, out of the 20 viewings we've had, this is the price feedback, this is the presentation feedback, and this is.
And it's not you telling them. It's not you telling them. It's the market.
Well, that's the great thing about the video is they just think it's more powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, cool. That's really good. So let's finish on the Homesearch one again, because of course you were talking about you were not unhappy with staying with Rightmove, obviously longer term, but you've seen enough of Homesearch to. I appreciate your software NDAs, but what can you tell us that's making you excited about that? Because I think they've committed to quite a quick rollout, haven't they?
Well, when I bought Reapit, it wasn't because of the software; it's because of you and Susanna, wasn't it? Really, you know, I bought into you guys.
I fell for that one as well, mate.
Yeah, I know. one lunch at Iberica, and that was it. Sold.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah. You and your gorgeous lip t-shirt. Oh yeah.
Pooh Bear and the Honey Trap.
And I think that's the same thing about Sam, is that I genuinely think he's visible, you know, and maybe people don't like him or whatever. I don't say you can't not like him. He's such a high energy guy, passionate, and I think he gives a shit about agents. and I think he's really passionate about the product. And you don't, I don't get that from Rightmove. I don't think they're passionate about the product anymore. I don't think they're passionate about innovation.
Sorry, do you know? I've got to disagree with you there, Ryan.
I know you know Miles. I know you know Miles.
It's not, I know quite a few of them there actually, and the one thing they genuinely, the ones I know anyway, have amazing passion for.
Well, there's disconnect, isn't there?
I know where
There's too many layers.
Yeah.
I know where Ryan's coming in. Where Rightmove have failed to, if that passion is present at the top, that's great. But
imagine Miles doing what Sam does every day, doing a video. Look, guys, I'm visible. I'm this, and I know he's visible to certain people.
It's more than that. It's Rightmove is a monster, and it relies on reps, and the culture within the reps and the relationship that they have with those agents has been shit.
Yeah.
There's just no education. They don't know how to talk to an agent in a way that, I mean, they've tried recently over the past 12 months to come across as a bit more cuddly. And it's almost impossible that they're turning around to you and saying, oh, let us help you to get the most out of your leads. Let us show you how you can get the
with our optimizer package.
Oh. And I'm sorry, but it's in a very abusive relationship. So I'm not up for cuddling my abuser right now, and I think Ryan's probably the same.
Yeah, I like I said, I just try and be rational about it. You know, what's the cost per lead? Is it providing good value for money? And I don't need the cuddles from any type of rep. I think where I'm excited with Homesearch is that it's the early start of the journey. And you know, as a relatively young business ourselves, I love that. I get excited about even like sessions with Olivia and stuff like that. I just think it's really exciting to see people start from the ground up and kind of, you feel like you're on a bit of a journey with them. And that's why I want to support him, because I want him to do well.
So Ryan, you've mentioned Olivia there, fantastic company, really one of the innovative ones. Please we'll stay in contact with you to see how that rolls out from somebody involved in the project. What other tech is important to you, and for you, George, as well? What tech, prop tech, all of these suppliers are?
I think the team hates it, really, don't they, George? Every time I go away somewhere, I bring back a new tech, and they're like, oh,
Oh yeah, there's something new every time, isn't there? Ridiculous. But yeah, some of it has worked out well. Look at Akaboom. I stand by that. I think it's amazing.
Yeah. Does that,
and I think it delivers value. I think that's the most important thing.
Surely it must be. I mean, it's great in a good market, but now, isn't it? It's got to be the only way to do business, isn't it? If you're going to communicate with your client.
Yeah, the market reports.
I would be changing Akaboom from being the presentation tool now to the prospecting tool. I mean, I still, the one that came about this is, I remember having a demo of it 3 years ago, and you know where you get put onto the mailing list in that demo, and it keeps you up to date. The fact I haven't unsubscribed from that tells you what an absolute killer app that is in terms of nailing the micro information that you are all by a stream. Even though I'm moving.
You become the authoritative figure, don't you, with the data, the market trends. You send it out, don't you, with our internal stats?
I use it by prospecting, yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Could you imagine a combination of that, George, and that video ask tool when you come out of place, knocking that out to like your investor database as well?
I literally just sent you a message. I said, we marry Akaboom with video ask. We've got the next big thing.
That's why I'm in the top box and you're down there, my friend. High five, Ryan! Guys, it's been great having you on. George, it's absolutely fantastic what you've done there. You've obviously got the right mentor anyway, a mentalist mentor, but Ryan, you know I'm biased, but you're one of the very best agents out there as well. So do stay in contact with us as long as you survive. We do that on every show just to wish people help them.
Yeah.
And
start way of saying goodbye.
I suppose I'll have to see you.
Say that to David, can you?
Cheers, guys.
Thanks so much for having me.
Cheers. Bye.